Hello and welcome to Lore of the Cards. It's been a while since our last episode, hasn't it? Those of you that keep up with the channel will know why, and thanks to all of you for your congratulations and messages. So, let's get back into action with the card that sees us looking at both Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storm. A lore of the stormy cards. No, that's not going to be a thing. Storm of the cards. No. We'll be taking a look at the priest favourite, Injured Blademaster. And it only seems appropriate that we also take a look at Samuro, the named Blademaster recently added to Heroes of the Storm. Let's slice and dice! The art of the card is produced by Samwise Didier, arguably the most influential artist at Blizzard, having worked at the company since 1991 and currently holding the position of Senior Art Director. As a result, Samwise's work has shaped the design philosophy and aesthetic for the entire Warcraft universe. Outside Blizzard, Didier is an old school metalhead. It's quite adorable watching him turn into a fanboy on a Warcraft video as he raves about Rob Halford. Samwise has turned his artistic hand to the music he loves too, producing art for the bands Hammerfall and Amon Amarth. He also writes and draws the art for his short stories about the dwarf Grimbeard. Recently, Didier has been working with the Heroes of the Storm team, and it was a speed drawing by the man himself that revealed Samuro to the world. Blademasters were introduced to the Warcraft universe in Warcraft 3 as part of the game's hero unit mechanic. Powerful units with the ability to level up and learn new techniques as the game progressed. The full art of Injured Blademaster actually showcases two of these new hero units. The Alliance's Dwarven Mountain King hero also featured in the card art. The image shows the Mountain King slicing the Blademaster's arm, accounting for his injured state in Hearthstone, something that can be hard to see on a card during normal gameplay. Though the Blademaster has been cut, the Mountain King's hammer is split in two, so the fight depicted is far from over. The Blademaster's moveset in Warcraft 3 has almost directly transferred to Samuro's moveset in Heroes of the Storm. Both are able to use mirror image, creating illusory copies of the Blademaster, making it harder for opponents to attack the real one. The moves differ slightly between games. In Warcraft 3, the move had 3 levels, adding an image each level to a maximum of 3, whereas Samuro summons 2 images. Both iterations of the move have the images take more damage than the actual hero. They achieve this in Heroes by giving them less health, but in Hearts they also do a little damage too. Hearthstone players will be familiar with Mirror Image as a mage spell that functions in a similar way, creating copies to draw attacks and protect the caster. This became a mage spell in World of Warcraft. Critical Strike is again shared by both games' versions of the Blademaster. The levels in this ability in Warcraft 3 increase the percentage damage added to the Blademaster's attack. The move has been slightly adapted in Heroes so that it's not just a passive ability, and can be activated to perform a powerful strike as well as being tweaked to be more predictable as to when the passive effect will proc. Windwalk allowed Blademasters to turn invisible and travel faster, each level boosting the speed increase. Heroes' version of Windwalk is similar to this. However, in Warcraft 3, if the Blademaster attacked to come out of Windwalk, he would deal bonus damage. The heroic ability Bladestorm is almost identical in both games, dealing continuous damage in an area around the Blademaster, and the hero is also allowed to move for the duration to chase down opponents. Illusion Master was a heroic added specifically for heroes, allowing Samuro to swap places with his mirror images. The Blademasters originated from the Burning Blade clan. In their ancestral home of Harl Valor within the Grand, members of the Burning Blade honed their fighting skills, endlessly training with sword, axe and polearm. The greatest warriors of the Burning Blade earned the title Blademaster. Not only were the Blademasters peerless combatants, they also wielded shamanistic magic, specialising in the element of fire. This allowed the masters to imbue their blades with flame, using a combination of their fiery rage and flammable oils to make their precise blows all the more devastating. Their rigorous training regime bred a culture of respect and honour within the clan, which they showed to both ally and foe alike. The clan would become a twisted mockery of their former glory with the arrival of the Burning Legion. The demonic army led by the Dark Titan Sargeras sought to destroy the entire universe. Along the way, Sargeras had recruited the aid of the Eredar to act as commanders for his vast legion. Some Eredar, led by Prophet Velen, saw through Sargeras' deception and fled, later becoming known as the Draenei. One of the Eredar leaders, and once close friend to Velen, Kil'jaeden, took Velen's retreat as a personal insult and committed himself to hunting down his former fellow leader. After many unsuccessful chases, the Legion commander tracked his prey to the planet of Draenor, homeworld of the Orcs. Instead of charging at the quick-to-escape Velen, Kil'jaeden adopted a different strategy. Seeing potential in the Orcs' strength, Kil'jaeden opted to corrupt them. That way, Velen and his followers would not realise war was coming their way until it was upon their doorstep. Tricked by Kil'jaeden into believing the Draenei were their enemy, the Orcs brought war to the otherwise peaceful race on the Legion's behalf. With help from his protege Gul'dan, Kil'jaeden was able to unite the separate Orc clans under the banner of the Horde and entice many of them to drink the blood of the demon Mannoroth. Presumably under the leadership of Dahl of the Thrice-Blooded Blade at this time, the Burning Blade pledged themselves to the Horde and willingly imbibed the blood of Mannoroth. While all Orcs saw their physical strength greatly increase and give in to an insatiable bloodlust after drinking the blood, the Burning Blade submitted to this corruption more than most. Quite why has never been fully explained. Perhaps because the Burning Blade were some of the most honourable Orcs, the corruption swung them round to their polar opposite. Or perhaps since the Burning Blade gave their lives to honing their combat skills, they embraced this new gift more than others, seeing that it had the potential to turn them into even more powerful warriors. While the Orcs fought for the Legion, just before their drinking of the demon blood, the elements of Draenor no longer heeded their calls, making the Shaman of the Horde next to useless. In Warcraft, Shaman request aid from the elements. It is up to them to lend it. With the Orcs fighting an unjust war against the Draenei, the elements refused to aid. The Horde were not without magic for long, as Gul'dan would teach the Orcish spellcasters Fel magic, demonic power taught to him by Kil'jaeden, which consumed life to create further destruction. With the elements abandoning the Shaman, the element of fire also abandoned the Blademasters. It is presumed that the Blademasters continued to ignite their blades with flame, warlocks using sickly green fel fire to give the warriors' blades a destructive slice. Perhaps the Blademasters themselves also learnt to channel the fel, further explaining why they gave in to the corruption more than many other Orcs. With demonic empowerment, the Orcs would defeat the Draenei in war, but not drive them to extinction as Kil'jaeden desired. However, assuming Velen and the rest of his people dead, the Demon Lord abandoned the Orcs, allowing the corruption he had sown amongst their ranks to consume both them and their planet. Luckily for them, Sargeras once again had need of their race, planning to use the Orcs as a preliminary invasion force to bring the world of Azeroth to its knees. The Legion had tried to conquer this planet 10,000 years prior, but were defeated just before Sargeras could be summoned to the world. Medivh, a phenomenally powerful mage possessed by Sargeras, reached out to Gul'dan, helping the Orcs over to Azeroth. By the time the Orcish Horde crossed through the Dark Portal, the Burning Blade were a far cry from the honourable clan they once were, no longer seen as a clan but an elemental force of nature. They had become chaotic and unpredictable, a demented force that razed and plundered human villages and towns with glee, not giving a second thought to honour or even their own safety. The clan was leaderless, Dahl either dying in battle or having submitted so much to demonic corruption he had become more beast than orc. The clan was only held in check somewhat by the ogres that had joined the ranks of the Horde during their war with the Draenei, likely able to use their superior strength to occasionally direct the ravenous wave that was the Burning Blade forces, unleashed by other orcish clans in times of urgent duress. While the group were able to be steered at times to act for the will of the Horde, they were loyal to no one, nomads who would attack anything or anyone they perceived to be a threat. including other orcs. The orcs' initial invasion of Azeroth seemed unstoppable, crushing the powerful kingdom of Stormwind underfoot during the event known as the First War, which is portrayed in the first Warcraft game. Before the outbreak of the Second War, however, the Alliance of Lordaeron was formed, the human kingdoms, elves, gnomes and dwarves against the ever-expanding Horde, which had introduced trolls, goblins and enslaved dragons to their ranks. While they were on the back foot for much of the Second War, the Alliance were able to snatch victory over the Horde, their ranks torn apart by infighting. The Alliance pushed the Horde back to the portal they had crossed through, and one final battle was fought. During this fight, the Burning Blade were routed and destroyed by forces under the command of Uther Lightbringer. The clan was not completely obliterated, but they would not be involved in the Orc invasion that saw the Orcs return from Draenor to gather artifacts, the Alliance chasing them back through the portal to put an end to the race once and for all. The Orcs left behind on Azeroth were not executed, but placed into internment camps. Languishing in these facilities, the Orcs became docile and despondent. They were eventually set free by the soon-to-be new Orcish warchief Thrall, aided by Grom Hellscream and the current warchief Orgrim Doomhammer, who would die during one of the rescue attempts. Under Thrall's rule, the Orcs sought to go back to their honourable traditions of shamanism, rejecting and resisting any foul demonic taint, a policy that had been started by Doomhammer when he won the position of warchief from Blackhand, a puppet of Gul'dan. The demonic rage now a low hum within their veins, many of the Blademasters that survived Uther's destruction of the Burning Blade now pledged their loyalty to Thrall, no doubt seeking to regain their lost honour. The Masters made an oath to free themselves and their brethren from the demonic corruption once and for all. The Blademasters were few in number and became an elite fighting force within the new Horde. Recognising their skills with the blade, Thrall instated the Blademasters as his personal guard. Not all Blademasters rejoined the new Horde, still loyal to their demonic masters. During the beginnings of the Third War, depicted in Warcraft 3, Prince Arthas Menethor came across one of these demon-worshipping Blademasters, defending the town of Strombrad from an Orcish raid and then taking the fight to the Orcs.
Paladin fool! The warlocks of the Black Rock clan have spoken. Soon, demons will rain from the sky, and this wretched world will burn.
Yes, I've heard this rhetoric before. You orcs will never learn. It was only a mirror image. Damn it, what are these curs up to?
The hour of doom approaches. Let this paltry sacrifice appease our demon masters.
You sick bastards. You'll never get away with
Slay the orcs.
Slay them all!
Arthas, aided by Uther, was able to put an end to this demon-loving Blademaster. In Warcraft 3, players were able to control each race's hero unit, bar the Undead's Dreadlord, which they get to play in the expansion, each representing a key lore character. The Blademaster hero was represented by Grom Hellscream, a huge character in Orcish lore, first to drink the blood of Manaroth, but also the man to free the Orcs from their blood curse once and for all. One day I hope to cover Grom. He is my favourite Warcraft lore character after all, but you can check out all his in-game cutscenes with Disguised Toast's card origins on him. Lore-wise, Grom is not a Blademaster, but this hero's skill set was by far the best to portray Grom's unpredictable and wild fighting style and personality. It's probably due to Grom not technically being a Blademaster that Samuro was selected to represent the class in Heroes of the Storm. Plus, I'm pretty certain Samwise just loves drawing this design. He's done it a fair few times. During the Third War, which saw the Burning Legion come to Azeroth again, Arthas found himself against more demon loyalist orcs, only this time Arthas was now a Deathknight in the service of the Lich King. The King led the Undead Scourge, another force who were created to weaken Azeroth before the Legion's invasion. Arthas and his accomplice Kel'Thuzad were looking to reach a demonic portal to commune with Archimonde, the demon leading the Legion. Arthas and his forces had no qualms destroying the orcs that stood in their way, failures to the Legion. Several Blademasters were among their ranks, including the fell Blademaster, Jubei-Thos, an orc so demonically corrupt his skin had turned red. When this happened is not known, as at the time Jubei-Thos was the only orc exhibiting this characteristic, without consuming the blood of Mannoroth again, as orcs under Hellscream's command would later do in a desperate bid to survive a battle with the Night Elves. Hellscream later went on to free his people from their blood curse after being brought back to his senses by Thrall, helping the Blademasters fulfill their oath of ridding their people of demonic corruption. In the World of Warcraft expansion Warlords of Draenor, where adventurers travel to an alternate reality Draenor to fight the Iron Horde, Jubei-Thos' alternate self was a raid boss as part of the Hellfire High Council encounter. Alongside Deer Darkwhisper and Gurtog Bloodboil, it was said Jubei-Thos and his fellow councilmen grew more powerful than other orcs when they drank the blood of Mannoroth, which the Iron Horde turned to after being beaten back by the Alliance and Horde. Perhaps this explains Jubei-Thos' red skin in our reality, an orc highly susceptible to demonic corruption, and thus exhibited symptoms that some orcs only showed after 2 intakes of demon blood. Though he was stronger than many orcs, Jubei-Thos and his forces were no match for the undead Scourge, who left none of them alive, able to commune with Archimonde and find out what they needed to summon the Legion to Azeroth. Jubei-Thos was not the only fell Blademaster still in the service of the Legion that players bumped into in Warcraft 3. During the Frozen Throne expansion, Illidan travelled to Outland with his subjects Kael'thas and Lady Varsh. The Night Elf Demon hybrid had been recruited by the Legion commander Kil'jaeden to destroy the Lich King, after the King betrayed the Legion, aiding in their defeat upon Azeroth. When Illidan failed, he fled to Outland, what was left of the Orcish homeworld. He sought to hide from Kil'jaeden and establish control over the broken world. In order to do this, he needed to defeat the Pit Lord Magtheridon, self-proclaimed Lord of Outland. Magtheridon, as well as commanding several demons, also had a large force of fell orcs, each force led by a highly skilled Blademaster. Bloodgrin, Bonethirst, Gorgosh, Maim, Mizgil, Ner'Zhul, Rend and Sagranal. Gorgosh and Mizgil defended the demonic gates around Magtheridon's territory that supplied his armies with limitless demonic reinforcements. Illidan and his allies made sure to shut these down first before attacking Magtheridon's great citadel. As Illidan and his allies with great difficulty cut through the fell orc forces, they met Rend, Maim, Ner'Zhul and Sagranal. Rend and Maim were chieftains of the Old Horde's Blacktooth Grin clan, and it is later discovered that Rend leads his own Dark Horde within the Black Rock Mountain, his brother killed in battle with Dark Iron Dwarves. It's likely Rend and Maim were added to this Warcraft 3 mission to make people like me go, "Ah, that's cool, it's them." They are totally different orcs to the Blacktooth chieftains. The fell Blademasters fought with as much cunning and guile as their by this time uncorrupted brothers, but the demonic corruption made them all the more ruthless and unpredictable. The Blademasters delighted in slaughtering Illidan's forces, bathing their weapons and bodies in the blood of elves and Naga. After a long siege, Illidan was able to destroy the orcs and make his way to Magtheridon's throne room. Here he came face to face with Bloodgrin and Bonethirst, 2 Blademasters assigned as Magtheridon's personal guard. Illidan was able to defeat them and Magtheridon. Heroes of the Storm players can play their very own fell orc Blademaster with Samuro's Hellblade skin. In the Frozen Throne expansion, the orcs did not have their own campaign like the other races. Instead, players experienced a strategy RPG hybrid, controlling the hunter Rexxar. Rexxar, a half-orc, half-ogre called a Mock Nathal, discovered Thrall's new horde trying to find a new home in the lands of Kalimdor. After saving the orcish warrior Morgrim from a Quillbore attack, Rexxar felt honour-bound to deliver a message from the soon-to-be-dead orc, which brought him to the new under construction orcish capital of Orgrim. Rexxar stayed on to help the orcs establish their new capital, aided by the troll scout Rokan and bumping into Chen's storm stout during his travels. It was lucky he did, as the orcs found themselves under attack from humans of the kingdom Kul'Tiras, led by Daelin Proudmoore. Humans unaware that the humans, led by Daelin's daughter Jaina, actually had a peace treaty with the orcs, both sides aiding each other in the fight against the Legion. Not knowing Jaina's father was behind the attacks, Thrall sent Rexxar to talk to Jaina to try and find out about the recent human aggression. Rexxar sought to travel by boat to Theramore Isle, but his path was blocked by a human settlement. It was here that players were first introduced to Samuro. The Blademaster had travelled with Thrall to Kalimdor near the beginning of the Third War, and once the Legion was defeated, settled in a small village on the outskirts of Orcish territory. Unfortunately for Samuro, his village was attacked by a crazed wildkin, Bloodbeak. The ravenous beast tore through his village, slaughtering his kin. Samuro set out to seek vengeance, but his hunt was interrupted when he was instructed to aid Rexxar along the coast of Dustwallow Marsh.
Throm Ka, brother. I am Samuro. My humble skills are yours. Vol'jin entrusted me with a batch of explosive wards filled with an unstable concoction. If I can place them on some critical structures, I could create enough of a distraction to allow you to sneak across the channel in this boat.
As Samuro set out to destroy key structures within the human's base, he was able to pick up on the trail of Bloodbeak. Compelled to avenge his fallen brothers and sisters, he resumed his hunt. Samuro was able to find Bloodbeak and put an end to the uncontrollable beast. Samuro darted through the human's base, liberally using his windwalk technique. Luckily for him, the human's only structures that could detect the Blademaster had been surrounded by explosives. Whoever designed that base was probably fired shortly after. The Blademaster placed the explosive given to him by Vol'jin at key structures, and after placing all 5 of them, set them off at the same time. The humans, in a state of panic, did not notice as a transport ship carrying Rexxar and his allies snuck past. The lead singer of the band Elite Tauren Chieftain in World of Warcraft is also called Samuro, but it has never been confirmed or denied that this Samuro is the same as the Blademaster. Based on appearance alone, it's highly unlikely, though he could have had it shaved, grown his hair and dyed it, I guess. Blademasters have never been a massive lore focus during World of Warcraft, but there are a few of note. Mancini is possibly one of the most well known, a quest giver in the Barrens, a place most Horde players found themselves questing in. Mancini had recently been separated from his wife. The two had been attacked by marauding Quillboar attacking a Tauren camp and became separated by the pigmen's overwhelming numbers. Their homestead was burnt to the ground, and Mancini was knocked out cold by the swarming Quillboar. He later awoke, tended to by a Tauren druid. Uncertain as to whether his wife lived, Mancini harboured a deep hatred for the Quillboar. He would stand at the place of his recovery, Gul'dan Farm, looking out for any Quillboar to sate his bloodthirst. Unable to take the uncertainty of his wife's fate any longer, Mancini donned the banner of the Burning Blade clan and travelled to the edge of Quillboar territory, the Razorfen, slaughtering any pig that dared come out to face him. With the aid of adventurers, he was able to recover the body of his wife, Olgra. After raising a humble monument in honour of his wife, Mancini's rage toward the Quillboar did not end. He continued to slaughter them, enlisting the aid of adventurers. His rage was finally quelled somewhat by the shaman, Marka. In Warlords of Draenor, players saw Mancini and Olgra together from a very young age. Another Blademaster of note that players met during the Burning Crusade expansion was Lantrasor of the Blade, a half-orc, half-Draenei. Players also met Lantrasor later on the alternate Draenor in Warlords. This gives a possible indication as to the Blademaster's past, though it could differ slightly as the events of this alternate universe did not exactly mirror the events of the main universe. When Dahl became chieftain of the Burning Blade, he exiled Lantrasor from the clan due to his his heritage. The half-breed was stripped of his blade and his banner, awarded to Blademasters upon the completion of their training. For years Lantrasor wallowed in solitude, but around the formation of the Iron Horde he returned to Hal Valor to challenge Dahl's leadership, seeking justice for his harsh treatment. Rather than allow Lantrasor to challenge for the leadership, the Burning Blade imprisoned him. Heroes from our universe found Lantrasor, freed him and gathered his blade and banner for him. The hero then challenged Dahl to combat. They defeated the Warsong Orc Dranruk and Dahl's grandsons Gorn and Sesk before fighting the chieftain himself. We know this didn't happen in our universe, as Gorn can be found in service of the Horde. During the battle with Dahl, Lantrasor intervened to ensure his vengeance. Dahl's daughter, Azuka Bladefury, took over as chieftain and once again banished Lantrasor, an act the Blademaster did not care about, as he believed the hero was far more worthy of his services than the Burning Blade and the Iron Horde. It is likely in our reality this changing hands of leadership did not take place, and Lantrasor remained in solitude, or was imprisoned and released when the Horde realised his potential to combat the Draenei. When heroes travelled to Outland, Lantrasor is in command of the Boulder Fist ogres found in the Grand, his formidable strength and skill earning him the respect of the powerful ogres. It seems he fought in the First and Second Wars and was able to escape back through the Dark Portal. Heroes were sent to negotiate with Lantrasor in order to stop the ogre attacks on their bases. Lantrasor at first mocks the hero, as their forces cannot stand against the ogres. If his clan did not destroy them, then the Warmaul clan would. After some thought, however, the Blademaster figured he could get some much needed aid from this hero. Lantrasor was able to use the hero to turn his two greatest enemies, the Kill Sorrow orcs loyal to the demons and the Warmaul ogres, against each other. The hero killed forces of each faction and planted banners of the opposite faction by the bodies to incite conflict. With the Warmaul and Kill Sorrow fighting each other, Lantrasor's Boulder Fist was safe, and he sent the heroes back with offerings of peace for their leaders. In the Warlords expansion, Azuka's clan joined with the Iron Horde. She seeks to revive the ancient Magdaron, Kor'kron, to serve the Iron Horde. She does succeed in this, using the Magdaron's ancient heart, which her forces are able to steal away from the Alliance or Horde forces, depending on what faction you're playing. The mighty Kor'kron and Azuka are later defeated by the Horde or Alliance. Blademasters have been in the Warcraft comics, have been general mobs, quest-specific mobs, and also class trainers, but I thought these three were some of the most interesting lore-wise. So, there you have it, the lore behind Blademasters, Samuro, and other notable members of the Burning Blade. I hope you enjoyed. If you wish to bring great honour to this channel, like, share, and subscribe. Of course, if you want us to commit seppuku, just hit the dislike button. Whoop whoop! Disembowelment! If you've enjoyed the art, I've linked as many artists that I could find in the description below. For more Warcraft lore, check out the rest of the Lore of the Cards series. And if you like to learn about StarCraft and Diablo lore too, give the Lore of the Storm series a look. To keep up to date with 6Gamers, follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Until next time guys, happy Hearthstoning, and I hope to see you in the Nexus.